Hey, welcome back to What's Actually Happening. I am Maahi. Episode 2 and 3 were all about the brain, its incredible capacity for memory, and the quiet ways it works against us every day. Today's episode is different. It's the one I have been building up to, and it's personal. You know how South Asian families work? If you're close to someone, their mom becomes your mom too. She checks in on you, she texts you to make sure you ate. If she hears you're sick or hurt or going through something, she's there, following up, making sure you're actually doing what you said you would do to take care of yourself. That's Josephine Auntie for me. She's the mother of one of my best friends, Ashley. I have known her for over 10 years since she moved to America. And in all that time, she has been one of the kindest people I have ever met. She used to cook for me, real, made with love. Did you eat today kind of cooking? And there was this one dish, chicken stuffed aloo patties, that to this day I genuinely believe is one of the most underrated foods in the world. She knew it was my favorite, so she would make extra, pack it up in a container, send it home with me so I would have something good to eat later. That's who she was to me. Not just my friend's mom, someone who looked out for me like I was hers too. Over the past several years, I watched Parkinson's slowly take pieces of her away. And I want to be honest, this is hard for me to talk about. Watching someone who used to cook for an entire family, who used to move through a kitchen with so much ease and joy, slowly lose that ability. Her hands didn't work the way they used to. Her legs don't either. Most of her day now is spent in a chair, and there is a helplessness to it that I don't think I ever fully be okay with. I think about her almost every day. And because I can't always be there in person, I start doing the New York Times word puzzles partly for myself, but partly because it's something I can do that connects me to her in some small way. Just something simple we can share even from a distance. So let's talk about what Parkinson's actually is, because I think a lot of people have heard that word but don't really understand what's happening inside the brain. Parkinson's is a condition where nerve cells in a specific part of the brain involved in movement become damaged and begin to die. This leads to progressive problems with movement over time. Think tremors, stiffness, slowing down, things that used to happen automatically, walking, picking something up, even just getting up from a chair, start to require enormous effort and concentration. The brain changes behind Parkinson's come down to dopamine. There is a region of the brain called the substantia nigra, and it's responsible for producing dopamine, the chemical that enables smooth, coordinated movement. In Parkinson's, the cells in this region slowly die off. As those dopamine producing cells disappear, the communication needed for motor function starts to break down. And in those dying cells, researchers find abnormal clumps of protein called Lewy bodies, one of the hallmarks of the disease. So imagine your brain is sending signals to your body to move, but the chemical that carries those signals is slowly running out. That's what Josephine Auntie is living with. That's what millions of people around the world are living with every single day who has Parkinson's. And here's what makes Parkinson's even more complicated. It doesn't always stay in the movement system. As Parkinson's advances, up to 70% of people with the disease will eventually develop some form of dementia as part of the disease progression. Memory, thinking, behavior, these can all be affected over time. The disease that started in the body slowly makes its way deeper into the brain. And that brings us to dementia and Alzheimer's. Because these are conditions that start in the brain's cognitive systems from the very beginning. Dementia isn't actually one specific disease, it's a syndrome, a collective term for a set of symptoms that affect memory, thinking, and behavior severely enough to interfere with daily life. It can be caused by several different underlying conditions. Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause of dementia. It's an irreversible, progressive degeneration of the brain. The hallmarks are two abnormal protein buildups: beta amyloid plaques that form between brain cells and tau tangles that form inside them. As these accumulate, brain cells die and the brain itself begins to shrink. Early on, it shows up as forgetting recent conversations, losing track of dates, repeating questions. Over time, it becomes harder to recognize people, to speak, to function independently. There are other forms of dementia too: vascular dementia, which happens after reduced blood flow to the brain, often following a stroke, and then frontotemporal dementia, which affects personality and behavior before memory, often misdiagnosed as mental health condition early on. And Lewy body dementia, which shares features of both Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. What connects almost all of these conditions in the same underlying story? A buildup of unwanted proteins in the brain that shouldn't be there, slowly disrupting the system that make us who we are. Different proteins, different regions, but the same heartbreak for the people who love them. And that's what I really want to talk about now. Not just the science, but what we do with it, how we show up. If you have someone in your life dealing with any of this, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, or honestly, anything at all, this part is for you. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to fix it. Nobody is asking you to be a doctor or a caregiver or a hero. What I'm asking, what I think most people in that situation are quietly hoping for, is just for you to show up in whatever way you can, even a small way. Check in on them, send them a message, make a call, tell them you are thinking about them. Sometimes that one moment of feeling seen and remembered is the thing that carries someone through a really hard day. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, especially when it comes to Alzheimer's and dementia. They might not remember that I visited. They might not remember what I said, and that's true. The memory may not stick, but acknowledging a person's fears and emotional needs, engaging in meaningful moments with them, even simple, quiet ones, matters for their quality of life in that moment, whether or not the memory of it stays. The feeling was real. The warmth was real. Even if the brain can't hold on to it, the person felt it, and that matters. For Parkinson's, there is something important to understand. Parkinson's can affect facial expressions and voice quality, making it harder for someone to show how they are feeling, even when they are feeling a great deal. So someone with Parkinson's might not be able to smile back at you the way they used to. Their face might seem still. Their voice might be soft, but that doesn't mean they're not happy you were there. Their body just can't show it the way it used to. And unlike Alzheimer's, they very likely do remember that you came, that you called, that you thought of them. Make time to share laughter, hobbies, or even just quiet moments together. These small acts support someone's emotional and mental well-being in ways that matter deeply, even when the impact isn't always visible from the outside. And I want to say this gently but clearly. You don't have to be there every single day. Life is busy, distance is real, Not everyone can drop everything, but don't let that perfect be the enemy of the good. A 2-minute text, a voice note, a puzzle you do together over the phone, it counts. It all counts. Because here's what I have learned thinking about Josephine Auntie. The people going through these conditions didn't stop being who they are. They are still in there, still the person who cooked for you, who checked on you, who loved you without asking for anything back. The disease changes what they can do, it doesn't change who they are. So be there in whatever way you can, because the people who used to show up for you, the ones who packed extra food in a container just so you would have something good to eat later, they deserve to feel like someone is thinking about them too. I'm Maahi. This episode was not easy to make, but I think it's the most important one I have recorded so far. If there is someone in your life going through something difficult, whether it's one of these conditions or anything else entirely, reach out today, even just a small message. It means more than you know. Thank you for listening to What's Actually Happening. See you next time.